The 1970s were overflowing with lush harmonies, velvet grooves, and bands that poured heart into every note. Yet, some never got the spotlight they truly deserved. While Earth, Wind and Fire and the Isley Brothers ruled the airwaves, there were groups in smoky lounges, tour vans, and late-night studio corners crafting pure soul magic. Today, we're shining a warm light on 10 of the most underrated R&B and soul bands of that golden decade, the ones who should have been household names. Number 10, The Dramatics. The Dramatics brought a cinematic style to soul. Rich harmonies, sharp stage suits, and story-driven arrangements that hit like mini-movies. Formed in Detroit in the mid-60s, they didn't truly break through until the early 70s under Stax Records. It was a turbulent moment in music history. The Motown sound was shifting, Stax was reinventing itself, and the Dramatics found themselves right in the middle of it. Their breakthrough came with What You See Is What You Get in 1971, a track that electrified black radio and filled dance floors from Chicago to Philly. And behind the glamorous vocals, there's a story. They survived lineup changes, a tragic theater shooting, and the industry's relentless pressure to chase trends. But listen closer.
Told me you weren't home. She said you weren't.
Those harmonies feel like warm summer sidewalks, block parties, love letters folded into jacket pockets. Their influence rippled quietly, inspiring vocal groups from the Del's revival era, all the way to 90s R&B boy bands. If smooth soul storytelling had a sound, this is it.
And scream.
And if that moved you, just wait, because next up, we're stepping into some real deep rose soul. Number 9, The New Birth.
Each time I slip the shoulder of the weight of all.
Here's a group that felt less like a band and more like a galaxy of sound. The New Birth formed in Louisville, Kentucky in the late 60s under the guidance of producer Harvey Fuqua, the same mentor who helped shape Marvin Gaye.
Ask a baby not to cry.
By the early 70s, The New Birth was a collective of singers, musicians, horns, and harmonies moving as one vibrant organism. They weren't about polish, they were about feeling. Songs like Wildflower and It's Been a Long Time carried a raw, aching tenderness in their delivery, the kind of soul that hits you right in the chest on a quiet Sunday morning.
You say, I'll be your bridge over troubled waters. You see the reason.
Meanwhile, their funk side, heard on Dream Merchant and I Can Understand It, was sweaty club floor electricity. But here's the twist. Their lineup was constantly evolving, which made it hard for the industry to package them. Still, those who know. Their influence echoes in everyone from the Whispers to Maze. If the Dramatics were soul cinema, The New Birth was soul confession. And speaking of chemistry, the next band knew how to make love songs feel like lived memories. Number 8, The Moments. The Moments were the quiet storm before Quiet Storm had a name. Originating out of Washington, D.C., and recording under Sylvia Robinson's all-platinum label in New Jersey, The Moments carved out a lane of tough, intimate soul, the kind that didn't need to shout to break your heart. Their big moment came with Love on a Two-Way Street in 1970, a song soaked in longing, the kind where every pause and breath felt like waiting by the phone. But here's the little-known twist. The group's lineup and even their name kept changing due to label battles. Later, they would re-emerge as Ray, Goodman, and Brown, giving us even more Bush Hatton smooth harmonies. You can feel their influence in groups like Atlantic Star, Surface, and every 80s slow jam built for quiet rooms in dim lamplight. Their music didn't just play, it lingered. If the new birth was confession, the moments were the whisper in your ear kind of love. But next, we turn to a band who brought sunlight and positivity to every stage they touched. Number 7, the Friends of Distinction.
Just watching as the world goes past.
Now, here was a band that sounded like sunshine poured into melody. Formed in Los Angeles in the late 60s, the Friends of Distinction came together from the same creative circle that gave us The Fifth Dimension. And you can hear that shared sense of joyous harmony and radiant energy in every note they recorded. Their breakout came in 1969 with Grazing in the Grass, a feel-good groove that felt like cookouts in the park, afternoons on front porches, and windows rolled down in the summer breeze. But it was the 1970s where their emotional depth truly bloomed. Love or Let Me Be Lonely and Going in Circles showed a delicate vulnerability behind their upbeat exterior, a willingness to let their voices crack just slightly on the emotional edge. They never became the stadium-sized act they deserved to be.
I find your mind, oh Lord.
Industry politics and shifting trends often overshadowed harmony groups who didn't fit into one neat category. Too soulful for pure pop, too melodic for hard funk. But those who lived through that era remember how these harmonies felt. Light dancing on wood floors, slow mornings, hearts mending. Their legacy lives on quietly, sampled in hip-hop, covered in gospel, whispered in neo-soul textures, and forever embedded in those who know that joy is sometimes the deepest kind of soul. And if that was sunlight, the next band is pure late-night blue velvet soul. Number 6, Blue Magic Now.
When you're down and feeling low.
This is where soul gets silky, dreamy, and absolutely unforgettable. Formed in Philadelphia in the early 70s, Blue Magic was part of that legendary Philly soul movement. Lush string arrangements, soft percussion, and harmonies that felt like gliding through moonlight.
Just pick up your own telephone.
They weren't the flashiest group of their era, and maybe that's why they sometimes get overlooked. But when it came to crafting romantic atmosphere, nobody did it quite like them. Their 1974 hit Sideshow was heartbreak turned into theater, literally. The song builds like curtains rising on a memory you're not ready to face. And the vocals, gently pleading, never rushed, each note floating like it had nowhere else to be.
The man with the broken heart, you see that.
Even deeper cuts like Spell and What's Come Over Me created that tender slow dance sway, the kind where hands touch softly and the room just fades away. Blue Magic lived in emotion, not charts. Their music felt like quiet confessions under streetlights, letters never mailed, love that was real even when it didn't last. And though they weren't pushed commercially the way others were, their influence is wide. You can hear traces of them in New Edition, Boys to Men, and every slow jam that values feeling over force. If the Friends of Distinction were sunlight, Blue Magic is the sound of midnight vulnerability. If these grooves are bringing back memories, the slow dances, the block parties, the late night radio hours, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It helps keep this soul alive and helps more people rediscover these timeless bands. And stay with me, because the top 5, there's something Truly Special, number 5, Black Ivory. Here we move into tender, aching soul, the kind that feels like young love unfolding in real time. Black Ivory formed in Harlem in the early 70s, guided by the production brilliance of Patrick Adams, who would later help shape the sound of disco and early R&B club culture. But before all that sparkle, Black Ivory gave us songs of soft heartbreak, floating falsettos, and quiet emotional honesty.
And you always said you'd be mine.
Their breakout track, Don't Turn Around, in 1971 sounded like a diary entry sung out loud. Fragile, earnest, full of longing that could make even a crowded room feel still. And with Leroy Burgess's pure, angelic falsetto at the center, the group became a soundtrack for teenage romance, streetlight kisses, and those first moments of realizing how deep love can go. The industry rarely knew how to market subtlety, especially during an era moving toward funk flash and disco glitz. But Black Ivory stayed true to feeling first. Today, collectors, DJs, and neo-soul vocalists treat their records like treasure. Their emotional blueprint echoes in artists like Maxwell, D'Angelo, and any singer who dares to be vulnerable. If Blue Magic was Midnight Confession, Black Ivory is the soft voice that asks you to stay. And now, we slide into a band that could turn groove into pure spiritual experience. Number 4, the Nat Turner Rebellion. Now here's a group that didn't just sing soul, they fought with it. The Nat Turner Rebellion was formed in Philadelphia in the late 60s, a time when soul music was becoming more than rhythm and romance. It was a voice for identity, for community, for power. Their music was recorded under the guidance of Philly legend Leon Huff. But unlike the polished commercial Philadelphia international hits we know from Gamble and Huff, the Turner Rebellion lived in a deeper, rawer emotional pocket. Tracks like Laugh to Keep from Crying and Tribute to a Slave felt like testimonies. Reflections of struggle layered over warm bass lines, brass accents, and harmonies that sounded like conversations being held on front stoops at dusk. Their songs weren't made for top 40 rotation. They were made for the soul that had seen some life. The tragedy is that the industry just didn't know how to market a band blending black consciousness with lush harmony. Their recordings barely saw release during their own era and circulated as whispers among vinyl diggers for decades. But once their music resurfaced, critics and listeners alike realized this was the missing bridge between Marvin Gaye's What's Going On era and the rise of the Stylistics and Blue Magic. This was soulless testimony. And speaking of devotion, the next band, they brought soul to church and the dance floor at the same time. Number 3, the Staple Singers, their 70s soul band era.
Ain't nobody crying, no.
Now most folks know the Staple Singers for their gospel roots, for Mavis's powerhouse voice shaking the walls of sanctuaries long before mainstream radio caught on. But in the 1970s, this family group stepped into something transformational. Under the Stax Records umbrella, they blended gospel devotion with southern soul and a touch of funk, crafting songs that felt like prayer set to groove.
You're ready.
When they released Respect Yourself in 1971, it wasn't just a hit. It was a statement, a reminder, a quiet revolution sung soft but firm. And the follow-up, I'll Take You There, didn't just climb the charts. It lifted people. It felt like a front porch revival, a neighborhood block party, and a healing circle all at once. What made this era so special was the band. Those simmering bass lines, those relaxed but purposeful drum patterns, that Memphis horn seasoning. It turned every track into a warm, rolling wave of soul, and behind it all, Mavis Staples' voice, smoky and tender, calling you home.
Let me take you down, take you down.
They were never flashy. They never chased trends. They just spoke truth over rhythm. Today, you hear echoes of the staple singers in Anthony Hamilton, Jill Scott, and even the rootsy side of D'Angelo. This was soul that understood history, heartache, healing, and joy, all at once. If the Nat Turner Rebellion was testimony, the staple singers were the sermon that soothed afterward. But now, we enter the top two. And these next bands, they should have been giants. Number 2, Mandrill Now.
Mr. Louis Castro Giovanni.
This is where soul expands beyond boundaries. Mandrill, born out of Brooklyn in the early 70s, was a band that refused to fit into any one box. Their sound blended R&B, funk, rock, Latin rhythms, Afro-Caribbean percussion, jazz horn arrangements, even psychedelic edges. They were global soul before the term existed. Their 1973 album, Composite Truth, gave us Fence Walk, a groove that felt like a neighborhood festival erupting right in your chest. And Hang Loose wasn't just a song, it was a groove philosophy. You could hear congas rolling like heartbeat pulses, horns calling out like street corner greetings, and bass lines that practically glided. But here's the real reason Mandrill stayed underrated. The industry didn't know how to market a band that blended cultures in a time when labels wanted clean categories. They were too soulful for jazz radio, too funky for rock radio, too global for mainstream R&B playlists.
Lead vocalist. My name is Louis Wilson. We are very happy.
Yet, their fingerprints are everywhere. They're one of the most sampled bands in hip-hop history, appearing in tracks by Public Enemy, Dr. Dre, and Kanye. Their sound continuing to breathe new life decades later. Mandrill was soul without borders, a celebration, a rhythm that traveled. And now, nothing will prepare you for number 1. This next band is the one that everyone knows in their heart, even if they don't know the name. A group whose music still plays in quiet kitchens, late-night radio hours, and memories we never let go. Number 1, Maze featuring Frankie Beverly. Now here we arrive at the heartbeat. The band that has defined togetherness, cookouts, family reunions, Friday night exhale, and grown folks' joy for over 4 decades. Formed in Philadelphia and later embraced by the Bay Area, Maze featuring Frankie Beverly was never built for flashy chart talk.
Where did we go?
They were built for feeling, pure, lived in, warm from the inside soul. When Joy and Pain hit in 1980, it wasn't just a song. It was truth set to groove. And Before I Let Go, that song didn't just become a hit. It became a ritual, a celebration, a moment where everybody in the room knows exactly how to sway, how to smile, how to love on each other. What made Maze special wasn't complexity, it was honesty. Frankie Beverly's soft, weathered vocal tone felt like a conversation, like the wisdom of someone who has loved deeply and learned gently. Their music was built for real life. And though they never chased radio trends or pop dominance, their legacy became something greater. They became the soundtrack to Black joy, to family, to community, to memory. Mays didn't just play music. They held us together, from silky Philly layers to sunlit California harmonies, from quiet heartbreak to triumphant togetherness. These bands remind us that soul wasn't just a sound in the 1970s. It was a way of living, a way of loving, a way of making meaning out of everyday moments. So, thank you for taking this soul stroll with me. If these songs brought back a memory, a slow dance, a summer drive, a moment you still hold close, go ahead and subscribe to keep this groove alive, and don't stop here. Up next, 10 forgotten one-hit R&B wonders from 1970. It's waiting for you on the end screen. Go on and click it. Let's keep the soul rolling.